Hello and welcome to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I am Paula Denoncourt, your host, founder, and CEO of Enrich Your Health. That's ENRICHURHEALTH. If you are listening, I am a holistic health coach. I also do some business funding. I help my clients stop living a life of pain and suffering by giving them simple diet and lifestyle tips along with prayer, which I truly believe is prayer is really, really important in the healing process. And if you've watched any of my shows, you can definitely see how my faith in God, my guests' faith in God, really plays a part in their journey, their wellness journey. I am looking for more guests. So if you are overcoming an illness or you've been through an illness, please reach out to me. You can do that through Instagram or Facebook by my name, Paula Denoncourt, Paula, Denoncourt, Denoncourt. So I want to thank everybody for watching and tuning in wherever you are in the world. Welcome. You could be across the world. It could be morning, evening, afternoon, whichever it is. Welcome. So tonight I wanted to share some things with you that are near and dear to my heart. I've helped quite a bit in the Lyme disease community with autoimmune illness, things like that. And myself, I suffered from multiple food allergies. If you've watched any of my shows, I've talked about how I almost died from food allergies, specifically around Christmas time. So I wanted to share that with you. But first and foremost, I wanted to say how excited I am. Just wanted to get a little bit festive. It is Christmas time. So just have a little bit of background here with the festive lights. So I wanted to share with you our new endeavor. We just released a new book called Activate Your Faith, Witness Generational Turnaround. And let me see if I can share you the cover. It is available on Amazon. So let me share the cover with you real quick. So that is our new book. So I am so excited about that. Judy, our visionary, you guys, I have to tell you, she is amazing. This woman experienced a stroke herself. So I want to share a little bit about the book with you. So Judy, I met a few years ago in Clubhouse. I haven't met her in person yet. She was a little bit timid, a little bit shy back then. And she decided in the past couple of months that God told her she needs to take her vision of Activate Your Faith. She started a movement and a brand of Activate Your Faith, and she needed to bring it to the masses. And she asked me to be in her book, and I said yes. So let me just tell you a little bit about the book. I've had some broadcasts on recently about our book, but I want to just tell you my own take on it. The people in this book are absolutely amazing overcomers. They have overcome things like there's 3 women that have overcome strokes. Well, I shouldn't say 3 women. I take that back. 3 people. Please forgive me. There's 1 person that is a gentleman. So no, it is 3 people that have overcome strokes in this book. One of them is very young. So I highly suggest that you get this book and just see what they've gone through, because going through the holidays, a lot of people have gone through things like strokes and some of the issues that you're gonna unfold in this book. Another person went through an airplane crash. Now, just to put that in a little bit of perspective, we actually had an airplane crash when I was growing up. I was very, very young. I went down the street to see it, and those people did not survive. So just put that in perspective, okay? Somebody just overcoming an airplane crash. She is in a wheelchair now, but she is getting therapy, and she is just an amazing person, Natasha Giddings. So just to see what she's gone through, she's got kids. She still has to drive her kids to different things. practices, school, whatever it might be, and she is still driving, believe it or not. She's like, hey, I got to get them somewhere. So, and then we have Tiffany Henderson Brown, who overcame a stroke. She was very young, in her 30s, when that happened. So, and again, you know, she's got kids. So please, please get a copy of this book. It will give you hope and encouragement. Of course, I'm in the book. I suffered from multiple food allergies. The enemy has been trying to take me out since before I was born. So specifically on Christmas night, of all things, I almost choked to death on Christmas night one year. So if you want to read more about that, I suggest you get the book and go to chapter 7. But God, I am still here. I'm not going to give it all away, but I will just give you a little hint. You know, things that happened to me in my life. I was locked in a trunk. So, you know, and I'm still here. I was in a car accident and I'm still here. So I'm not going to give it all away. I'm not going to name everything. Please get the book and read it. Read how Tiffany didn't even know she had the symptoms of a stroke, which is really, really important. This time of year, more than anything, is when things happen to people. They have heart attacks because they're eating the wrong foods, because they're stressed out. So please take a screenshot of this book. You can get it on Amazon. And so you can just go to Amazon and you can put in there, Activate Your Faith, Witness Generational Turnaround. So you can take a screenshot of that. If you want an autographed copy, you can get it from me at info@enrichyourhealth.com, and I will send you the link. Once again, if you are listening, that is INFO at enrich, ENRICHYOURHEALTH.com, and that's my email. So, or you can text me 508-330-9665. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to talk a little bit about getting through the holidays with food allergies, food intolerances, and a little bit if you do have an illness or an injury or something that you're going through. I want to give you some tips tonight about that. And before we do go into that, I do want to say, full disclosure, this is not medical advice, not meant to treat, heal, or cure, or mitigate any illness whatsoever. Please seek the advice of your doctor, especially if you are on any medications. And then last but not least, before we get going, I do want to mention, I'm looking for guests for the show going into the new year, and sponsors. I am going to be taking sponsors. So please, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger. You can text me once again, 508-330-9665. So without further ado, I'm going to start going over some tips that could help you get through the holidays and give you a little bit of my experiences of going through the holidays over the years. Thankfully, by myself now, I work from home. I don't have to worry about work, but let me tell you some experiences that I had to go through and deal with and how I handled that. So number one, I worked in a prison for 22 years. So when I first started with food allergies, you know, I was working as a dispatcher in a prison. And I remember, you know, towards the holidays, everybody's bringing the cakes and the cookies and the pies. So I'm sure you might be working somewhere and going through that. You know, maybe you need to eat gluten-free. Well, here's a tip. Is there something that you could bring that's gluten-free that could help you? Eat something before you go to work, or carry something that, you know, that you could eat or nibble on, that you're not going to be too tempted to get, you know, to have a bite of all these things, the cookies, the cakes, the pies. Now, if you're highly, highly allergic to that stuff, another suggestion, make sure you have an EpiPen handy. Make sure your coworkers and people you work with Your boss knows where you carry your EpiPen. If by chance you can't handle cross-contamination of gluten or anything like that. Which brings me to other types of parties, family parties, friends parties, your own party. Make sure if you have guests coming that if they have food allergies, food sensitivities, know what those are and know how to have your party without them feeling bad being there, or worried to be there, especially with kids. Kids can have nut allergies. You know, some trail mix have cross contamination. So you might buy a trail mix and it may not contain nuts, but it could have cross contamination. So if any children that have peanut allergies, they could have a reaction from that trail mix. Do not put it out for them to have their little hands in, you know, that it's in reaching capacity, you know, like they're, you know, some people put stuff on the coffee table. I remember going to my cousin's house, you know, they always had like little, I don't know, Chex Mix out, things like that, that could have cross contamination if somebody's allergic to nuts. It could even have cross contamination with gluten if it's not gluten free. So these are things to think about if you're having parties or holiday parties or going to holiday parties. If you have kids, like I said, make sure if they carry an EpiPen, somebody at the party knows where that EpiPen is. If God forbid they do have a reaction, find out what your guests can and can't have. Dairy is very, you know, a lot of people are highly allergic to dairy. So, you know, either you yourself bring something that's dairy free, or ask the host, please don't put anything out with dairy. I'm highly allergic to it. Maybe you could put covers on things, you know, and just have a separate table even if somebody is highly allergic to dairy or gluten or things like that. You know, in the summertime, we put covers over things to keep the bugs away. Well, you might just have to do that for your guests. Label it. This here is a gluten-free table only. And you know, the spoons, the serving things, you've got to be aware of these things. Talk to your guests. Some people, you know, they just touch something. They could just touch a sponge even, and that could set them off. Be aware of these things with your family. Another thing I want you to be aware of is please, please be compassionate. Like I said, I just did this book with these people. They're wonderful. They've had strokes. They've had, we have another woman in there that's going through blindness. Be aware of these things in your family. Having helped in the Lyme disease community, I've seen how they get very anxious around the holidays. They don't want to be around a lot of people because of food sensitivities, because of they have like anxiety. They have, excuse me, what's you know, all these different things. They have, some of them have OCD just because of the way their brain works. Have some compassion. Don't get all worked up about how they are. Like, for instance, maybe they get all anxious to go to somebody's home and almost manic about it. Just be compassionate. Even if they're manic in the house about way things are placed, especially the food or whatever. Sometimes that's just the way their brain works. They have a mental health issue from having an autoimmune issue, whether it's Lyme disease, lupus, or another issue. People have flare-ups around the holidays. What does flare-up mean? Flare-up means their body gets inflamed and they might have more pain around the holidays. So what can you do about that? Have compassion around these people that might be cheating around the holidays. And they're starting to be in pain, but they're sucking it up to be around family, to be around friends, but now they're starting to have pain. Maybe they've had a little bit of wine. Maybe they've had a cookie here and there. I used to. And guess where it landed me? In the hospital 2 years in a row. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm giving you some advice of dealing with these things. So maybe you have somebody in the family that's had a stroke. We've talked about it on other broadcasts, how they deal with it. Just be compassionate. Maybe they can only use one hand, but they want to help. Let them, even if it's not perfect. I remember, and this has nothing to do with illness, but I know sometimes people in the family are all worried about things being perfect. They're just perfectionists. It's their nature. Well, this is kind of funny in a way, but it leads me to having compassion. Okay. Um, one of my cousins, she just liked everything to be perfect. And of course, her son was like the jokester, right? So he purposely would cut the pie imperfectly, right? Just to get her goat, to get her, you know, it was just a joke, because she wanted everything cut perfect, every cooked perfect, everything just, she was a perfectionist and her son was the opposite. So I remember we were laughing about it, that the pie isn't perfect now. She's gonna go crazy. But think about that with somebody that's ill and they just, they only have one hand and they can cut the pie. Are you gonna go crazy because the pie's not cut correctly or the cake? That person meant well and they only have one hand. Oh well, it's still a piece of pie, right? Don't go getting all nuts over it. It's not perfect. Be happy that that person wanted to help, and don't look at them like you can't touch them or they can't help. They still can help in a different way. So I've learned some of these things just listening to some of these people that are in my book, in our book, of what something that they've had to deal with. They want to help. They don't want to be, Judy said it. She doesn't want to be treated like a piece of porcelain, like she can't do anything. They can do things. It's just a different way. We have Jolene who's going blind, but guess what? She's doing all kinds of things right now. She's going to different, she said she's doing more holiday parties than she's ever done before. To me, that's incredible. She's probably doing more stuff than I am. I live here in Lake Norman and I'm not even doing that much because I work from home. I don't have that much time to get out. So kudos to her. She's going to things where she can barely see, and that they are parties for the blind and things in the community. If you are going through something, it doesn't mean you can't go. Find your tribe. Maybe you just need to go with them instead of the people that you used to go with. There's a tip right there. I do have, as far as food goes, I have some holiday side dishes and dishes that you can get that are allergen friendly. They're either gluten-free or dairy-free or low in sugar, or they're just very easily to substitute different things. So say there is a little bit of cheese in there, you can say, okay, I'm not going to have the cheese in there if I can't have the cheese. You just eliminate it. So those are on my website, enrichyourhealth.com. So those are some tips for you. So I just really wanted to come on here and talk about getting through the holidays with an illness. The last tips I want to give you are, if you are going through flare-ups already, you already had Thanksgiving, you started cheating with the pies, and now we're going into Christmas, you are going, you're going to work, you're having a cookie here and there, you're having a piece of pie here and there. It's not even Christmas yet, and your body's already starting to get inflamed, you're starting to get bloated. Well, let me give you some tips for that. You want to drink a lot of water. Water lubricates the joints, and that's going to help if you're starting to have any pain. Like I said before, if you want to cheat, just have a little bit. Don't go crazy. And then try not to eat anything until the next party. You know what I mean? Next party, whatever. So that way, you're not getting more and more inflamed, more and more in pain, and you don't wind up in the hospital like me. Eat have some fruit. Fruit has sugar, so have some fruit before you go anywhere. It'll lessen the sugar cravings, especially I've seen that with Lyme disease. They love sugar because sugar feeds the illness. It feeds off of it. So, lessen the sugar cravings, have some fruit, low glycemic, some strawberries, maybe have some apple, whatever. That will lessen the sugar cravings of going to a party. Have some water with lemon in it. Lemon detoxifies the liver. Once you get through the holidays, then we'll talk more about detoxifying totally. But this is just getting you through a little bit. Try not to eat too much cheese. Cheese it causes congestion. That's the other thing right now. Everybody in the world is sick. So if you're getting sick or you're around a lot of sick people, your immune system is low or weak. Try not to eat a lot of cheese because that's going to cause congestion. And guess what? You're going to think, now I'm sick, right? Because you're getting congested. It's only from the cheese. So try not to eat too much cheese or cheesy foods or too much dairy. That's going to contribute to congestion. Sugar, a lot of sugar will contribute to congestion. If you are out there and you are feeling sick and going through all these symptoms that everybody's having, get yourself some detox soup. What's detox soup? You just use either chicken broth or a vegetable broth. Throw a lot of vegetables in there, some greens, so you could greens, throw some kale in there or some spinach, and then lots of vegetables, some zucchini, garlic. Don't cook your garlic too much. Put some garlic and onion in there, because that way it really does help to fight the illness. If you cook it too much, you're losing some of that nutritional value. Same with your onions. So try not to cook it too much. That's going to help get rid of the illness. Oregano can help get rid of the illness. Like I said, this is not medical advice. These are just some old myths that do help, that people have, done studies that it does help them. Everybody's different, but get yourself some soup, that will really help. And your best bet is if you have family and everybody might be starting to get sick or whatever, and you haven't gotten it yet, make some homemade soup and freeze it so you have it ready. If God forbid you do start to get these colds and flus and everything that's going around, you're ready for it. If you do get COVID, anything of the lungs, you want to have boiled bananas. That's helpful for bronchial type issues. You want to have pineapple juice. That's good for a cough. It's got the vitamin C. It's going to boost the immune system. You want to have mullein tea, Mullein. That's M as in Michael, Ullein as in Nancy. Mullein tea helps with the lungs. So you want things like that. Honey lemon ginger tea is good for colds. The ginger will help with mucus. It's an expectorant. So these are some tips to get through the holidays. Try not to eat a lot of gluten or wheat if you're someone who does have joint pain on a continual basis. You have rheumatoid arthritis or arthritic type issues. You definitely want to limit your sugar intake. You want to limit your gluten or anything with too much bread or pasta. Here's another tip. Here's something I used to do when I lived back in Massachusetts. My mom was still alive. Mom was Italian. We were notorious for having pasta and fish and shrimp and all of that on Christmas Eve. Well, what did I do? I would get gluten-free pasta and bring it to my mom's house. She'd cook the gluten-free pasta for me. So then I could eat with everybody else. So I wasn't sitting there like, oh, I can't have anything. I can't have gluten. Okay. So this is some things you can do. What can you swap out and have instead? Can you have gluten-free pasta instead? If you can't even do gluten-free pasta, What if you did zucchini noodles, spaghetti squash noodles? Another thought. So if you have any questions, maybe you need a little more advice, a little bit more tips, please reach out to me. Like I said, you can text me. We can set up a time, 508-330-9665, or you can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or even my email, info@enrichyourhealth.com, ENRICHURHALTH.com. You can reach out to me any of those different ways. So I don't want to, keep talking, but those are some tips for you for getting through the holidays, getting through Christmas. You have holiday parties, check with your guests if they have any, even if it's not food allergies or food sensitivities, maybe they have a disability or something that they're going through. If you do know somebody like that, ask them instead of just assuming what they need. Even here's another one. Think about this. Maybe even things that are hard to reach or things like that. They might need help with that. Whatever it is, ask them what they may need help with, whether it's even getting in the front door. I mean, think about it. If you live where it snows and it gets icy, man, I used to dread that. I didn't even have a disability. Make sure your walkways are really good and sanded and salted. What door is easier for somebody to get through? Is it easier for them to come through the garage? Let your guests know these things. If they do have a disability, maybe they walk with a cane, maybe they walk with a walker, maybe it's grandma, maybe they're in a wheelchair. Whatever it is, I hope this is making your wheels spin and making you think that what we take for granted, if we have the ability of our two hands, our 2 feet, our legs, our sight, what can you help somebody else with? They're coming to your home or you're going to their home. Maybe you can help the host by me giving you all these tips. Maybe you can give the host of a party the tips I'm giving you. Be the ripple effect. So those are all the tips I really have for tonight. I do this every year because I think it's important. Like I said, I remember empty plate on the holidays when my food allergies reared their ugly head. I wound up in the hospital on Christmas night. That I took a bite of turkey, a sip of wine, and I was almost dead. The year after, my mom made Italian cookies all the time. Not all the time, but at Christmas time. She made 12 different kinds of cookies. So of course I was gonna have a couple. And that made me wind up in the hospital because my body couldn't digest all that gluten, all those extra foods that my body couldn't process. So lo and behold, I couldn't eat other foods. So 2 years in a row, I wound up in the hospital on Christmas Eve, and the next year, the day after Christmas. So I don't want to see you wind up in the hospital with a heart attack or, God forbid, a stroke from the stress. And if you're finding the holiday stressful, I'll leave you on these last tips. Make sure you're doing something for yourself to just kind of relieve some of that stress. Is there somebody that can help you maybe wrap the presents? Whatever it is that, you might need help with the stress of it all. Even if it's financial, man, I used to go in debt trying to buy gifts. Talk to people. Tell them, hey, look, I don't have a lot of money to spend this year. I hope you understand. Stop putting it all on a credit card just so somebody will say, oh, this is nice. Really? What's important is we're all alive and we can thank God for that he's keeping us alive and we're here and we get together. Maybe one gift per person. I used to try to do that. So, just think about these things. Think about what's really important. Jesus is the reason for the season. don't go crazy, putting yourself in debt, stressing yourself out, because that's going to get you sick too. So with that, I just wish everybody a happy, healthy, safe holidays. Like I said, reach out to me if you need help with this, if you need customized recipes, even just for the holidays. I'm here. And I will help you with that. And I do have some ebooks and digital recipe books specifically for the holidays. So if you're looking for something, you can get it right on the website, enrichyourhealth.com with a UR. If you go to the store and it's empty, I apologize, it's under construction. You can go to the other store, go to the second one, and everything is there. And get your free gifts, your Reversing Illness ebook and 6-day immunity meal plan guide. Highly suggest that with everybody being sick right now, you could use that. So I am Paula Denoncourt, your host of Overcoming Illness. I need more guests. So please reach out to me if you're overcoming an illness, you've gone through an illness, or maybe you're a pastor, an apostle. We need your stories. People need hope and encouragement, and we need your stories. Don't hold it all in. It happened to you for a reason. Our pain is our purpose. So you need to get your story out. I'm here to help you do that. So with that, thank you again. We will see you. Oh, and one last thing. I'm also looking for sponsors. So if you're looking to advertise your business, I'm going to be putting up sponsors in the new year. So if you want more exposure, you want to get more business and make more money in 2024, then reach out to me and we can put you on the show. And I can also put you on my other platforms. I have a huge following on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. So we can get your business out there and get more eyes on your business to make you more money and to get people the help they need with your business. They're waiting for you. So we will see you next Sunday, everybody. Thank you. And God bless.